Hi everyone, welcome to our channel Sai Unique Tutorials. This is Deepika speaking. In this video, I want to discuss about nervous system once again. In my last video, I discussed about the division of nervous system and about neurons. The topic neurons is okay, but coming to the division of nervous system, some of my friends and viewers told me that it could be more elaborated. So I made the division of nervous system more clear in this video, and I have also discussed about ganglia, tracts and nuclei in this video. So do watch the video till the end to know about ganglia, nerves and tracts. Now let's start our topic, nervous system. Nervous system is a highly complex system of an animal. It coordinates the actions and sensory information by transmitting signals to and from the different parts of the body. That means it coordinates the actions and sensory information that is sent to it and transmits those signals to different parts of the body. In the further discussions, we'll know in detail about this definition of nervous system. And now coming to the cells. Nervous system consists of vast number of specialized cells called neurons, supported by a connective tissue called neuroglia. It consists of specialized cells. These are not like normal cells. Neurons contain axons, cell body and dendrites, as we have discussed in the last video. And the connective tissue is called neuroglia. Cells are called neurons and the connective tissue is called neuroglia. Right? And coming to the main topic, division. The nervous system has two main divisions: central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Now coming to the central nervous system, as the name indicates, it lies at the center of the body. Peripheral nervous system, as the name indicates, it lies at the periphery of the body, side of the body. And the central nervous system consists of brain and spinal cord. And the peripheral nervous system consists of nerves. These are the two main divisions of the nervous system, consisting of brain, spinal cord and nerves. Now let us discuss about central nervous system. In this diagram, we can see central nervous system consisting of brain and spinal cord. Here's the rough diagram of central nervous system consisting of brain and spinal cord. It is just a rough diagram for better understanding, and we'll know in detail about the anatomy of the brain in the further videos. And now here a basic idea, this is cerebrum, this is midbrain, this is pons, here is the medulla oblongata, cerebellum. All these come under hindbrain, this is midbrain and this is forebrain. And this is the spinal cord. And we have the protective bony structure called cranium to protect the brain. And the bony structure to protect the spinal cord is called vertebral column. Now coming to the functions of the central nervous system. The main function of central nervous system is to analyze the information that is sent to it. Sensory information from various organs are sent to the central nervous system, and the analysis of that information is done in the CNS, and the analyzed information is returned back in the form of motor commands to various parts of the body again. Now let me explain it more clearly by taking an example. Let us imagine a mosquito standing on our hand and biting us. Immediately the sense of pain in the form of sensory information is sent to the CNS. And now the CNS analyzes that the sense of pain may be due to the mosquito bite, and it thinks that mosquito is a harmful parasite, and it sends the motor commands to our hands to hardly hit on the mosquito. So immediately when the response is reached to the hands, we hit hardly on the mosquito with our hands. So we can tell that analysis or thinking, the ability to think, is done by the CNS of our body, central nervous system of our body. And we can also tell that central nervous system acts as a CPU of the body. Now coming to the second division of the nervous system, peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system lies at the periphery of the body and it consists of nerves. Here in this diagram, we can see all the nerves that arise from the brain and the spinal cord. All these nerves are nothing but they come under peripheral nervous system. We had seen that analysis part is done in the central nervous system. Analysis of the information that is sent to it and taking the analyzed information to various parts of the body. This sending and receiving is done by the peripheral nervous system, by the nerves that are present in the peripheral nervous system. Now, based on position, the nerves in the peripheral nervous system are divided into two types based on position, into cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Cranial nerves are the nerves that arise from the brain and the spinal nerves are the nerves that arise from the spinal cord. And based on function, the division is as follows. Nervous system into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system we have already seen, brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system into sensory nervous system or efferent nervous system. Motor nervous system or efferent nervous system. Sensory nervous system consists of sensory neurons which take information to the CNS. They take information from various parts to the CNS. And motor nervous system or efferent nervous system contains efferent neurons which receive back analyzed information to the various organs of the body. Sensory nervous system or efferent nervous system is again divided into special senses and general senses. Special senses means these get the information from special sense organs like nose, ears, eyes and tongue. For example, we can see only with our eyes, we can hear only with our ears, we can taste only with our tongue. So, the senses from special sense organs are taken by sensory special nervous system. Now, general senses means it is generalized in the body. It is common to all the parts of the body. For example, we can feel the sense of touch, pain, heat, cold, pressure, etc. common to all the parts of the body. So, the general information is carried to the CNS by the neurons of general nervous system, general sensory nervous system. The next division of PNS is motor nervous system or efferent nervous system. This motor nervous system or efferent nervous system contains neurons which brings back the analyzed information in the form of motor commands to various parts of the body. Motor or efferent nervous system is again divided into somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. Somatic nervous system, this carries motor commands from CNS to the skeletal muscles of the body, which involve in actions like walking, taking, running, etc. For example, to reach a particular point, if there is plenty of time, we just walk and go. If there is no time at all, we run and go. And these actions are undertaken by somatic nervous system. And these actions of somatic nervous system are voluntary. That is, they are under our control. So it is also called voluntary nervous system. Now coming to the second division of motor nervous system, that is autonomic or involuntary nervous system. This system is the most important system as it carries information to smooth muscles of various organs of the body like heart, kidneys, lungs, etc. And this autonomic nervous system is involved in functions like circulation, excretion, respiration, etc. And the functions of autonomic nervous systems are involuntary in nature. That is, they are not under our control. So this system is also called involuntary nervous system. For example, we cannot decrease our heart rate, respiration rate, etc. whenever we wish to decrease them. That means they are involuntary in nature. And now this autonomic nervous system has two divisions: sympathetic division and parasympathetic division. Sympathetic division regulates body's involuntary responses in stressful situations. Sympathetic S, stress S. Let us remember like, for example, if you go to any strange place where you are feeling afraid of everything there, your heart rate definitely increases, your alertness increases to send extra blood to the organs. So here your sympathetic nervous system is functioning. And this is also called flight or fight responses, as these function in stressful situations. The next division of autonomic nervous system is parasympathetic nervous system, which regulates body's involuntary responses in normal conditions, when the body is resting, relaxing, etc. For example, when you are sitting, relaxing and watching TV, your parasympathetic nervous system is activating, which increases your digestion, which maintains your normal heartbeat, maybe 72 beats per minute, decreases respiration rate, etc. Now, let us review the entire division of nervous system once again. Nervous system is divided into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. So in central nervous system, all the analysis of information is done and it is divided into brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system, all the transmission of information is done. This peripheral nervous system is divided into sensory or efferent nervous system and motor or efferent nervous system. Sensory nervous system is again divided into special senses and general senses. This nervous system carries information to the central nervous system. And motor nervous system or efferent nervous system brings back the analyzed information to the various parts of the body. This motor or efferent nervous system is divided into somatic or voluntary nervous system and autonomic or involuntary nervous system. Somatic nervous system brings information to skeletal muscles of the body, and autonomic nervous system brings information to smooth muscles of the body. And autonomic nervous system in turn is divided into sympathetic nervous system, which responds in stressful situations, and parasympathetic nervous system, which responds at normal situations. Now with this we conclude the division of nervous system, and now we shall discuss another topic, white matter and grey matter. Now before discussing white matter and grey matter, I want to show you the diagram of a neuron once again, which I discussed in my last video. Neuron is a specialized nerve cell and it contains spherical shaped cell body, tree-like dendrites, long slender axon, and axon containing myelin sheaths which contain fat cells, interruptions at regular intervals called nodes of Ranvier, axon terminals, and all these are used for transmission and conduction of nerve impulses. Now coming to white matter and grey matter. Grey matter is nothing but when these cell bodies and dendrites are present in groups, they form grey matter. And white matter is nothing but when these axons are present in groups, they form white matter. These axons contain myelin sheaths containing fatty cells which are white in color, so they form white matter. These cell bodies and dendrites do not have myelin sheaths, so they are grey in color and they form grey matter. So in this small rough diagram, I can show you white matter and grey matter. Group of cell bodies and dendrites form grey matter and group of axons form white matter. Grey matter chiefly contains numerous cell bodies plus dendrites, and white matter is nothing but it chiefly contains numerous long myelinated axons, and the color white is due to the presence of myelin sheaths in the axons. Here in this diagram we can see grey matter and white matter separately. Grey matter containing cell bodies and dendrites is present at the edges and white matter containing axons is present inside. Now hope you are clear with grey matter and white matter. Now let us discuss about cortex. Here is the rough diagram of central nervous system, again consisting of forebrain containing cerebrum, midbrain, pons, medulla oblongata and cerebellum. All these three come under hindbrain. We shall discuss anatomy later again. This is just for understanding, basic understanding. And in this cerebrum we can see many cell bodies and dendrites formed in groups which form grey matter, and this grey matter which is formed at the edges of cerebrum is called cerebrum cortex, and the grey matter which is formed at the edges of cerebellum is called as cerebellum cortex. Simply, cortex means cell bodies and dendrites, that is nothing but grey matter present at the edges is nothing but cortex. When present at the edge of cerebrum, it is called cerebrum cortex, and when present at the edges of cerebellum, it is called cerebellum cortex. Now let me show you nuclei. Here usually cell bodies lie at the edges of the cerebrum and cerebellum, but sometimes the cell bodies may be found even in the white matter, and these cell bodies are nothing but they are named as nuclei. Now this nucleus is nothing but group of cell bodies found in the white matter of the CNS. Now let us see what is tract. All the axons from these cell bodies form a group to form a tubular structure called tract. Tract is nothing but group of axons in the CNS. Now we are clear that nuclei means group of cell bodies present in the CNS, and tract means group of axons present in the CNS. Now ganglia means group of cell bodies present in the PNS, peripheral nervous system. Ganglia is nothing but it's a group of cell bodies present in the peripheral nervous system, and nerves means group of axons present in the peripheral nervous system. Nuclei and tract are present in central nervous system. Ganglia and nerves are present in peripheral nervous system. With this I am going to conclude my video. Hope this video is useful to many of you. If you like my video, please hit on like button and do subscribe our channel. Thank you for staying till the end.